Yo, what up? How's it going, guys? About a week ago, Valve added a brand new counter-terrorist model for the SAS faction. While looking at them in-game, I noticed that, at a glance, they lack the same level of variety that we see in the models of other factions in the game. And, upon closer inspection, they all appear to be exactly the same. While scouring the Reddit comments to see if anyone else had noticed anything new or interesting with these models besides me, I came across this comment that suggested that perhaps the fact there was no variance between the 6 different models meant that Valve could be moving towards adding more customization options, in addition to the recently released gloves. It raises a good point, but I thought I'd make this video to break it down into why it may or may not happen. Let's just start with what we know and then we can speculate on the future. So the first real hint at something along these lines was when Valve added the weapon skins to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The Arms Deal update was released in 2013, and there was a single line referring to store_wearables and wearables in all capital letters, placed next to lines such as store_weapons and store_miscellaneous. Community-made models have always been a staple of custom servers across all Counter-Strike games. However, Valve made it clear that they didn't have much interest in this since Counter-Strike is a first-person game, and you can't see your own player model outside of the few seconds after you've died, and the recently added killer replay feature in casual game modes. Unlike their other games such as Dota 2, Portal 2, and Team Fortress 2, there are no opportunities to see your model in-game through your own means. Here's a short clip from GDC 2014 where a technical artist who worked on CSGO talks about this.
We could do new weapons, or we could just do cosmetic mesh changes to existing weapons. All these things have been modded by CS players in the past. The way we choose which of our options to go with is to assess the benefits associated with each type of product and then compare that against the risks associated with shipping it and the resources required to actually complete the task. We know that customizable characters in TF2 and Dota 2 are really valuable and popular, but they work best when there's lots of chances to see the customization. CSGO is also a first-person game, but we don't have taunts. So the chances to show off your customization are actually a lot fewer than our other products. And so the value here isn't maybe as high as we'd first hoped.
So, as you can see, the amount of work that they would theoretically put in for these and the amount of value they expect players and the company would receive are rather disproportionate, especially compared to everything else in this graph. The glove skins are an obvious exception, as your hands are the only custom items you could see in first person, along with your different weapon skins. Unlike any weapon skin, they're pretty much always on screen since your hands are visible with every weapon in the game. They also probably had a good feeling that the community would get value out of them, as there are plenty of tournaments and community servers that change the default glove textures already. In the Operation Wildfire update, which was released February 17, 2016, 3 years after the Arms Deal update, numerous references were found to some kind of wearables yet again. We found mentions to factions and descriptions for them under labels such as CSGO_wearable_CT_SEAL Team 6 and CSGO_wearable_CT_SAS. The way in which these factions and faction descriptions were laid out evokes a feeling of classic Counter-Strike where you could choose your own model regardless of what map you were on. There were descriptions for 5 different factions, including one mysterious faction that to our knowledge has never appeared in-game, labeled Freedom Fighters. There was also a base SEAL Team 6 model added in the game with his helmet and vest as separate models, but there was no such treatment for any of the other factions. Later in the year, on May 31, 2016, more undocumented references to wearables were added. In these text files, we can see the different slots for head, eyewear, face masks, hands, hats, lower body, and torso. Does this imply that Valve is going back on what they said previously? I never! But what was more interesting than any of that was a few references to taunts. Based on what we could find in the game's files, we could determine that they were mainly to be used for modes in which you can respawn, such as Deathmatch and Arms Race. So did these allude to customizable player models finally being added to the game? Well, we still don't know, but what was unexpected was the complete removal of any and all references to wearables in the Gamma 2 update released August 18th, 2016. All of the references I've shown you were removed from the game in this update. taunts and wearables alike. So now that we have all of our available information laid out before us, we can begin to speculate. Valve has shown that they're not willing to make any departures from the same hitbox across all models, even when the hitbox might be too big or too small to accurately represent certain areas of a character. So even if there was a way to swap cosmetic items, you'd give yourself little to no advantage as far as hitboxes are actually concerned. As far as any sort of colors go, I also suspect that they would refrain from letting players pick colors, as that would give a huge advantage to players holding certain angles. Since they've had an overall track record of improving visibility with each update, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Outside of the sprays, they haven't exactly added anything that could hinder your ability to spot other players in the environment. The new SAS models that gave inspiration to this video also have a high level of detail overall and are very unlike the base SEAL Team 6 model we saw earlier in the video. More importantly, these parts of the model are not separated, it would not be easily swapped out. And, since there's still no way to see your third-person model easily, I have my doubts that they'll be implementing any cosmetic items besides gloves anytime soon. It could still happen though. Valve have definitely gone back on things they've said in the past numerous times, especially if they think it's something that will sell well or that players will enjoy. Despite the fact that a lot of us play CS for its competitive aspect, there are plenty of people who would probably also enjoy these kinds of things being added into the game. I mean, character customization has personally always been one of my favorite things in games. From RPGs to first-person shooters, I like adding a bit of flavor to my in-game model, even if it was also something simple like a pair of sunglasses or a bandana. Players all across CSGO's mini community servers also use custom models on a daily basis, even though they can't see anything different besides from their hands. With the number of weapon skins going up every day, the gloves were a nice twist. Something a bit different to break up the monotony of the same sci-fi and foreskins that we see in every case. However, I don't think CSGO is the right type of game for this, and it would likely do more damage to the game's quality than it would be worth. The competitive integrity of CSGO is very important to many of its players, including myself. While it would be cool to have customizable models, I would like for everything to be uniform, at least to some extent. And I hope Valve sees it this way as well. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit the like button and let me know what you did like about it in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe for future content.